One of my favorite stories that I ever covered on this channel was the story of the Titanic submarine that was filled with billionaires that winded up imploding at the bottom of the ocean. That story was just so interesting for so many reasons. For one, it was a story that I felt like no matter who you were, we all learned something new from that story. For one, we all learned, hey, don't put yourself in a submarine that is powered by a PlayStation 2 remote controller and dive down to the bottom of the ocean, because that's probably not a good idea. But all jokes aside, we learned a lot of new things. And it was like a shared experience. And back in the day, we always had shared experiences. Maybe everyone at work would gather around the water cooler and talk about the latest episode of the biggest show that was out at the time when everyone was watching cable. Maybe when you were at school, you would go to school on Monday knowing that all of the kids saw the latest Disney movie over the weekend. When you talk of shared experiences, you could talk about something like the Super Bowl. It's something that you know that people of all cultures, all backgrounds kind of knew about, and they were kind of in on the situation. And the sub story was one of those stories. Everyone was watching the story, and when you turned on the news, they had a little time ticker that was counting down the hours and minutes of oxygen that they may have had left in their sub. And it was like the media was stringing us along for a couple of days, when in reality it seems as if they already knew that the sub had imploded a while before all of the hoopla and hibbity, stuff started. But as crazy as that story was, and boy oh boy was it crazy, and boy oh boy, the memes, chef's kiss, the memes were epic. Don't get me wrong, it was a tragic situation, but it was one of those situations that was just like, I'm sorry, we gotta crack some jokes. We gotta make some memes out of this. But anyway, you would think that people would have learned a little something from that. I mean, I would never put myself in that position anyway, but after watching that play out, damn sure, you couldn't pay me to go on one of those little subs. I don't know if you could even fit me in there, okay? You think you're gonna crowd my big ass up in one of those subs and take me 30 leagues beneath the sea? I am good on that. But anyways, you would think people would have learned from this. But that's not the case. In fact, now, to make matters even crazier, another set of billionaires is about to embark on the same journey in their own sub to prove that they can safely do it, unlike the Ocean Gate Titan sub that, of course, we all know imploded. I want to go ahead and dive into this article because what could go wrong? It's not like we didn't see, a few billionaires just get killed in the same fashion, but let's go ahead and dive into the article. Ohio billionaire plans to take $20 million sub to Titanic site to prove industry safer after Ocean Gate implosion. The pressure is on. An Ohio billionaire is planning to take a deep-sea submersible to Titanic depths to prove the industry is safer in the wake of the doomed Ocean Gate vessel that imploded last year. Real estate investor Larry Connor of Dayton, Ohio, said that he and Triton Submarines co-founder Patrick LaHaye will plunge more than 12,400 feet to the shipwreck site in a two-person submersible. I want to show people worldwide that while the ocean is extremely powerful, it can be wonderful and enjoyable and really kind of life-changing if you go about it the right way, Connor says. LaHaye has designed a $20 million vessel dubbed the Triton 4000-2 abyssal explorer, which Connor said can carry out the voyage repeatedly. Where have we heard that before? Oh, this is a great sub. It could carry out the trip as much as you want. And then later on, you kind of find out that it was all kind of slapped together with metal that wasn't even up to standard, and it's kind of being controlled by a Logitech bootleg video game remote. Let's go forward, though. Patrick has been thinking about and designing this for over a decade. Once again, we heard that before too. But we didn't have the materials and technology, Connor said. You couldn't have built this sub 5 years ago. The duo said they want to prove that the trek can be done without disaster, despite the implosion of the Titan submersible in June, which killed all 5 people on board, including Ocean Gate CEO Stockton Rush. The Titan had been headed to the Titanic site when it suddenly had a catastrophic implosion on June 18th. A few days after the tragedy, Connor called LaHaye and urged him to build a better sub. He said, what we need to do is build a sub that can dive to Titanic-level depths repeatedly and safely and demonstrate to the world that you guys can do that and that Titan was a contraption, LaHaye told the paper. So as we are all watching the clock tick, thinking these people are trapped at the bottom of the ocean, about to suffocate, these guys are like, you know what? We have enough money that we want to try the same thing. Obviously, these billionaires got it wrong and they're dead, but hopefully our money is better than theirs and we can do something better. The part that scares me about this is the fact that he's like, 5 years ago, you couldn't build this sub. This scares me because this is the exact... Guys, you can go back and watch my prior videos of when this went down. Very interesting videos. This is the exact mentality that killed those 5 people. All because of Stockton Rush, the CEO, building a state-of-the-art submarine. No one had ever seen anything like this before. You weren't capable of building this in the past. It's almost word for word the same nonsense that we have heard from Stockton Rush, who eventually imploded along with 4 others at the bottom of the ocean. So I'm not saying that I'm an expert here. I don't know how to build submarines. But just because you have a lot of money to throw at something doesn't mean it's going to work. And that's kind of what these billionaires are doing. They get bored. They don't know what else to do. They just throw money at things. Oh, this will work for sure. And then next thing they know, they're stuck at the bottom of the ocean along with all of the sad souls who died on the Titanic. But let's go ahead and go forward because obviously they have learned nothing. And there's a big chance they may provide us with a few more days of entertainment as we watch them stuck at the bottom of the ocean as well. Connor didn't say when the voyage will take place. LaHaye was among the critics in the deep-sea adventure industry who accused OceanGate of questionable safety standards, calling Rush's approach quite predatory. Industry experts and whistleblowing employee had previously come forward with fears about the safety of the vessel, in part because OceanGate opted not to certify it through credible safety groups such as the American Bureau of Shipping and Deck Norsk Veritas in Europe. Rush billionaire explorer Hamish Harding, French Titanic expert Paul-Henri Nargliat, and Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood and his 19-year-old son died instantly when the Titan imploded. So this is kind of like deja vu. It's like it's happening all over again. And man, like I said earlier, this is one of my favorite stories to cover, but we've been there and we've done that. You know, it's time to move on to new things. We don't need any more billionaires, trying to build crazy submarines and getting trapped in the ocean. But there's no originality in today's world. Have you noticed that all of the movies are just remakes of old movies? Everything that's happening is something that's happened before. Well, guess what? The storyline that caught us all, that captured our attention for a few days, a year ago, that storyline may very well play out again. And if it does, I'll be here to cover it. But for now, feel free to let me know how stupid you think these people are down in the comments below. And I want to hear from you all. After watching what we watched play out with the Titan sub about a year ago, would any of you all ever go on a submarine and take a voyage down to the Titanic? If given the opportunity, would you all do it now? Would you have done it before the implosion? Did the implosion change your mind? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon at the next one.